Hello, my love. Happy Wednesday. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning here at the lake. It's in the 40s, definitely chilly, but it's a beautiful day. So now this is cool, my opinion. So last evening I was talking to a friend of mine that I've known forever and a day. Seems like forever and a day. We're talking about Christmas traditions and your best Christmas, your worst Christmas as a kid, things like that. And he said, "Let me tell you what happened to me as a kid." Tell me. So his parents were divorcing, and I knew I knew him in college. So from what I had understood through the years, his mom was a very kind of mean, nasty, spiteful, selfish person. His dad was just a really good guy. His mom liked to go out and party. His dad was more church based. Just the difference in people. Their relationship obviously didn't work out. And back in those days, custody of the child always went to the mom. So his mom was raising him, but his dad had visitation. And his mom, every weekend, his dad was supposed to have him every other weekend, but his dad got him every weekend and usually one or two nights during the week. He loved that. He loved spending time with his dad. He felt he mattered, he was heard. He loved that. So it was Christmas. And I think he said he was like 12 or 13. And the mom had pulled the dad aside. Dad was there to pick him up one Saturday, and the mom told him to go in and get his bag or whatever. And he heard his parents fighting in the living room. And his mom was saying, "You best be buying him." It was some game system or game thing. And the little boy didn't understand because he didn't have the game system. And he thought his dad was going to have to buy the whole thing. Dad's a construction worker. And he did know because his mom told him on a regular basis, "Your dad's paying $800 a month child support. And if he doesn't pay it, I'm taking him back to court." And he knew that was a lot of money for his dad. So the kid comes out, he's ready to go. His dad takes him. And it must have been right around Thanksgiving or right after Thanksgiving, because I know it was before Christmas. And he said that, they're walking to the car and he said, "I'm sorry, Mom yelled at you." And he said, "Don't worry about it. I'm used to it. Don't give it a thought." He said, "So what do you want for Christmas?" He said, "Nothing." He said, "Oh, come on. What do you want for Christmas?" They get in the truck and they, gets buckled in. And he said, "I want to spend all day with you." He said, "Well, you do that anyway." He said, "Nope, I want to go to work with you." He said, "You what?" And he said, "I want to go to work with you. I want to spend all day at work with you." He said, "I don't know. It's a construction site." And he said, "Now, they had some friend that the dad also did woodworking, like carpentry." He said, "You can help me over there, evenings and weekends. I don't know about taking you to the job site." He said, "Well, ask." He said, "Okay, I will ask." So, they had a great weekend together. The dad would take him, to the YMCA. They would play basketball. They would go bowling. They always did stuff together. And on Sunday, they always went to church together. And then they would go out to eat. It wasn't anything fancy. He said most of the time it was like Denny's, but it was just that they were together and they had these great conversations, and he loved that. But when he would go back to his mom's, she would interrogate him, yell at him, yell at his dad, and it was just ridiculous. But he never let it get to him. And I've asked him, I said, "How could you not let that get to you?" And he said, "I don't know. I guess I saw through her." Okay. So time came closer to the holidays. We're in December now. And his dad picked him up. The usual, "You best be buying him this game system," and on and on and on. So he gets in the car or in the truck, and he said his dad asked him, "So what's the deal with the game system or the game that you're wanting?" He said, "I don't know. I don't even have this. I don't know if it was Nintendo or what." But he said, "I don't even have that. I don't know why it would do me any good." And he said, "I don't know. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it." Okay, fine. So, they go off to have their weekend together, and the dad takes him to do woodworking over to their friend's garage, to their workshop. And he's learning how to use, I think it's called a scroll saw. He's learning how to sand wood and stain wood and do all kinds of cool stuff. He loves this. He's just eating it up because he's spending time with his dad. He's learning to work with his hands. The same thing his dad is. He's I don't want to say learning a trade. I don't want it to look like that. But he's learning a passion of his dad, something that they can bond over. He loves this. And so it's like lunchtime. And so they go grab something to eat, and instead of going back to the shop, they go to the construction site. And the guy's boss is there doing some cleanup stuff. And the little boy's really excited. He just can't wait. He can't believe it. And he said he got there and he was afraid because he knows, he's not supposed to be there. He doesn't have a hard hat and all this stuff. It's a big deal. And so the dad put safety glasses on him and a hard hat and is showing him around and everything. And the foreman comes up. And the dad and foreman, he said obviously they had already talked, but he didn't know, and he was really scared. He didn't want his dad to lose his job. And he said, so what do we have here? And, the dad introduces him and they shake hands. And he said, you look like a hard worker. And he said, I am. And he said, what do you know about construction? And he said, well, I know what my dad's taught me. And I know how to, he was telling him about using a scroll saw and on and on and on and on. He said, okay. You want a job? And he said his whole body lit up. He was so excited to hear this. And he said, well, what, he's 12. He said, what can I do? He said, you can clean up. You can use a broom. He said, yeah, I can sweep. He said, okay. Every Saturday, Saturday morning, you come with your dad, you clean up, and I'll pay you for it. And I guess he said this was one of the most important days of his life. This meant everything to him because now he had not only been taken seriously by his dad, he's sharing a passion of his dad's, but now he's being acknowledged for a good work ethic. And he was there ready every Saturday. He couldn't wait to go to work. And it really pissed the mom off because I think she was jealous, my opinion. But she didn't like the relationship developing between the little boy and his dad. She was very bitter about that. And she kept harping on this whole game thing. It was Atari. That's what it was. I finally remembered it because he was telling me about Pong. If you're old, you know what I'm talking about. And it was just a big deal. To her, he had to have this game. He didn't have the game system. He knew she wasn't going to buy the game system. He didn't understand. So the dad said, what can I get you for Christmas? He said, I don't want anything. You gave me the best Christmas ever. He said, I get to work with you. I'm getting to learn all this stuff. He said, Dad's going to figure out something. And he said, okay, well, what do you want to do about your mom for Christmas? Because you got to get her something. He said, I want to make her a spice rack. Okay, we can do that. So at the construction site, he went to the foreman himself and he said, I asked if I could have some wood because I want to make my mom a spice rack for Christmas. And the foreman helped him pick out the right kind of wood and everything, helped him cut it. And then they took it back to the workshop and he did his magic. He said he worked so hard on that. He measured and he used the scroll saw thing to give it some shape. He stained it, he sanded it. He said he was so proud of that. He said he still thinks that's the most perfect piece of work he ever made. And he's a grown man now. So it comes time for Christmas. And his dad's going to pick him up and then they'll go have Christmas at his dad's place. And so it's Christmas Eve. His dad goes to pick him up. And he said he ran out to his dad's truck as hard as he could and just almost tackled him. And his mom saying, you best have that game with you. It wasn't about the game. And the little boy saying, where is it, where is it, where is it? She said, don't you disappoint him. It's not about the game. And so the little boy got in the back of the truck and pulled out the spice rack. And Dad had put a bow on it. And he brought it in and he said, Mama, this is for you. I made it all by myself. And he said, I was so proud of that. And she picked it up and threw it against the wall and shattered it. She said, why would I want this piece of shit? I don't want anything handmade. If I want anything, I'll go to Walmart and I'll buy da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Broke his heart because he put so much love and effort into this. And she just threw it away and said it was trash. Big tears in his eyes. He said he's trying not to cry. And she said, and I see you don't have that game for him. He said, you don't worry. His presence at my house is not coming here. You don't worry about it. That really made her mad. That set her off. So he went in to get his bag and he said his dad picked up all the pieces of the shelf and they left. in the truck, and he said he couldn't talk. He was hurt, he was angry, he was disappointed because he put so much love and effort into this, and she didn't care. They got back to his dad's house, to the apartment, studio apartment, not much in it. They had a pizza, and his dad said, well, I guess you want your present. And he said, I don't want a game. He said, it's not. You go over in that corner and you look in that box. His dad got him his own tool set. Sorry. But to watch him tell this, I mean, he got tears in his eyes. And he said that meant so much to him. That his dad believed in him enough to buy him the tools to support their passion. He said that meant everything to him. So they ate the pizza, and it's Christmas Eve. They're going to go to, I guess it was a midnight mass or something later, but they had time to kill. He said, so what do you want to do? And he said, I want to fix the shelf. You sure? He said, I'm sure. It's what I want to do. So they got out, whatever, I don't know how they fixed it. He didn't say, I didn't ask, but they fixed the shelf and put it back together. And he said, and we'll go over, to the workshop, and we'll fix the stain. We'll restain it and sand it up. And he said, do you know my dad kept that? And it's still hanging in his kitchen today. I love that. I absolutely love that. And he said he still has the tool set and the tool belt. He still has it. He said, I will always have that. Always. And he's teaching his son the same thing. I said, well, what happened to your mom? He said, she wanted the game for her boyfriend's kids. It was never about him. She didn't have money to buy the boyfriend's kids something, so she was going to just get mad at him, punish him, take away the game, and give it to somebody else. He said, I saw through it a long time ago that he had disconnected from her, And when he turned 14, he went to live with his dad. And, I guess it was, according to him, he said it was perfect. And I said, okay, did you have food? He said, well, we had macaroni, cheese, and hot dogs, and sometimes French fries. And on Friday night, we would have pizza. I said, okay. He said, but that's not what fed me. My dad fed me. My dad's interest and passion and being involved in my life, going to the PTA meetings and everything going on in my life, my dad was there. We may not have had a lot of food. We may not have had a lot of nice clothes. We may have had some used stuff, but I had the love. And that's something my mom could never give me because she couldn't give it to anyone. Very insightful. But I had to share that. I just thought that was the coolest story. And I guess the moral of the story, and this is what I told him, I said, so what I'm taking away from this is it's not about the stuff. He said, oh, hell no. No. It's about spending time with your kids. It's about creating the memories and building the passion and the interest and the conversations. He said he could talk to his dad about anything. His dad told him about his life growing up. And he said he respected his dad as his dad and realized, dad's dad, but he's also his best friend. He just loves his dad to this day. His mom passed a few years ago. She was always a very mean, nasty, bitter person, very materialistic. She would get and take anything she could from anybody she could. She was very entitled, and he felt sorry for her. He said, I pitied her. That she was never able to understand what Dad and I had. She was never able to have a relationship like that. And that was her loss. That's very insightful. So, for this holiday season, if you can, spend some time with your kids. Do something fun with your kids, whether it's making cookies, putting up holiday decorations for your home, maybe helping the neighbors put up theirs, going looking at lights, window shopping, driving around, looking at the snow, whatever it is, just create memories with your kids. Be involved in their life. That means more to them than stuff.